Hey folks, Reggie Lal here, Be the Smart Investor. In the studio today, you're in for a treat. Gordon Moss, note buying expert, real estate expert. We've been talking about the note business. Gordon, it sounds fascinating. It really does. I mean, people can play with small amounts of money. There's plenty of supply coming in. The banks have a lot of them. Here's my question to you. Can you give us a couple of examples that are recent, that maybe you've done, that's actually made you some money in the note business?
Well, thank you for asking, Reggie. And I can give you 3 specific examples of notes that we've done this year.
Okay.
I'll start with the first one.
All right, go ahead.
This gentleman was actually deceased and out in Nevada. And the bank, for some reason, when he stopped paying, didn't seem to understand that he wasn't around anymore.
Right.
So they sold it to us at an extreme discount. Actually, $3,000 is what we paid for this note.
Was it a first or second?
It was a second.
Okay.
It was a non-performing second we bought for $3,000 on a very nice house in Nevada.
Okay, so let me just stop real quick. So what he's saying, what Gordon is saying is there's lien positions, first mortgage or deed of trust, and then one behind it would be the second mortgage or deed of trust. In our business, we would call that a second. And the fact that the borrower is not making payments, the bank still owns it, but it's not performing.
Exactly.
Correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly it. So what they did was they sold this note to us for $3,000. Within 60 days, it went to short sale. The property was sold. Very nice home once again. And we netted $19,000. So actually, we netted $16,000 because 19 versus the 3 that we paid was $16,000 to us in a 90-day window. So once again, a good example of a small amount of money, $3,000, relatively low risk to make 16 relatively quickly.
See, and that's a great example, folks, because people are afraid, oh my God, it's a second, I don't want to touch it, I don't want to deal with it. As long as you've got some equity, you're okay with the first, it's not an ugly, hard money first, there's some cushion. There's a case where $3,000 brings back 16 in what, a couple months?
90 days.
90 days. That is not a bad rate. If you punch that in, it's going to explode the thing, I'm thinking.
Yep.
All right, that's a great example. You got another one for us?
Yeah. Let's talk about a Southern California example. There's a property in Southern California that basically we bought the $87,000 second, once again, second trustee, second, for about, it was below $10,000. And this particular buyer could not pay us off or anything like that. They did have a job, though, 2 good jobs, so they did have an income coming in. So they basically came back and paid us about $450 a month for the next 32 years. So the yield on that, we'll have our money back in about a year and a half, and it's a good yield.
All right, let's recap that. So the face value on it was 87.
Yeah.
Unpaid balance was probably a little bit higher than that, my guess is, because they haven't been paying for a while.
Exactly.
What did you guys pay for that thing?
A little over $8,000.
Okay. Their payments on it was probably $500-600 a month. Had they been paying?
Yeah, actually, it's a shade more than that.
Okay, so the rate was obviously a little bit higher.
Yep.
Because it was a second. You come into this person and the conversation is, hey, do you like your house? Do you like living here? How would you like to make payments? Something like that?
And it's one of the criteria, Reggie. We look at the home first and say, is there pride of ownership?
Okay.
Is the lawn mowed?
Right.
Are the roses planted?
Right.
Have they been there for 10 years? And, do they want to be in that home? That's a real sign for us that this person will help us out. Let us help them. And we really do get a chance to help them.
Which is amazing, and it's great, because that's one less foreclosure that goes to the courthouse steps.
Exactly.
So the homeowner gets to stay. You now own the note via probably an assignment. So that allows you to modify it. You do whatever pretty much you want, right?
And do it the way the bank can't do it, like a human being does it.
Yeah, sit and have a conversation. Hey, folks, you can't pay the whatever, $700-800. What can you pay? How's $300 grand?
And we'll also reward them, Reggie. For example, we'll say, if you'll pay us for 3 years on time, we'll take the arrearages and take half of those away.
Wow.
So we can incent them positively.
So you're incentivizing them by being on time.
Exactly.
Something the banks rarely do, take the time to do.
Exactly.
So there's a great example. You got another one for us?
Yeah. In the third example, this particular borrower, once again, Southern California, we bought this note. It's about a $100,000 note for a fraction of that number. And they actually, they fell down a couple years ago, and they were okay now. They had some money. So we made them an offer to say, okay, can you pay us off in full? We'll take a deep discount on the note, and if you can pay us off in full, we'll do it. So we did that to the tune of about $80,000. So our $10,000 investment turned into an $80,000 payoff, and that's good stuff.
So if I get this right, there's a case where someone, the bank, somebody had a non-performing note, unpaid balance was probably over $100,000, right?
Yes.
And they owed the principal amount was 87-ish?
Yeah.
You bought it cheap. You remember what you guys bought it for?
About 10.
So bought it for about $10,000. Here's a case where it was a homeowner that actually had some money somewhere.
Yeah.
Might have been in a retirement account. It might have been a small business owner that had a decent year after a couple hard years. We don't know. They had some failure in their life financially that allowed them to not be able to make payments. You come along now, that situation changed. Say, hey, you owe us $135,000. How would you like to pay us off for $80,000 and we're done?
That's exactly.
And they're able to do it.
Yep.
That's a pretty good payday, man. $10,000 brings back $80,000. About how long did the whole thing take?
That one took about 8 months.
Sure, because that's a lot of money.
It is.
Have them come up with 80 grand right now. They probably had to move some money around, liquidate some things. But nonetheless, if you punch that one in, it's going to explode that HP as well, right, for yield.
Absolutely.
As Jimmy Napier once said, good enough, right?
Good enough.
What's the yield? Good enough, right?
Good enough.
Wow, 3 terrific examples, as you can see. It's exciting stuff, huh?
It is exciting. I love this business.
All right, cool. Folks, stick around for part 3 of this amazing interview with Gordon Moss, note buying expert.